What if I tell you a cockroach doesn't really need its head to move around? Yes, that's true. But who's really in charge of its body? Well, its highly organized nervous system. So, in this video, let's explore the nervous system of cockroach step by step. If you look inside the cockroach, its main nervous system lies ventrally. That means along its belly side. Unlike humans, where the nervous system runs along the dorsal side. This nervous system is made up of three main parts: the central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and the autonomous nervous system. The central nervous system of cockroach consists of brain, sub-esophageal ganglion, and the ventral nerve cord. These three are structurally connected. So now let's see each structure in details. Though cockroach's nervous system lies ventrally, but if I open the head from the dorsal side, I can see the cockroach brain on the top. That means only this brain is dorsally present. The brain lies at the front of the body and just above the esophagus. Since it lies above the esophagus, it is also called as supraesophageal ganglion. The brain performs both sensory and endocrine functions. Now let's see the brain in details. So the brain of a cockroach is divided into three lobes. Now here I have two views. One view which is represented the back view if I am looking at the cockroach's brain from the back. And this is the side view of the cockroach. So, the first lobe of the cockroach's brain is the protocerebrum, which is highlighted in the pic. So, you can see the two parts. These are the protocerebrum. The second lobe is the deutocerebrum, marked in yellow. And the third lobe is tritocerebrum, which is marked in green. Now, let's see what each one does. The protocerebrum receives signals from the compound eyes through the optic nerves. The deutocerebrum collects impulses from the antennae through the antennal nerves. And the tritocerebrum receives sensory input from the labrum, the front lip-like structure of the mouth, through the labral nerves. So overall, the brain works as a main sensory command center, interpreting incoming signals from the sense organs. The next comes the sub-esophageal ganglion. Now, if I'll see the position of the sub-esophageal ganglion, here you can see it is lying behind the brain but little lower. So it means it is lying on the ventral side. Unlike brain, which is dorsal, this structure is present on the ventral side. As the name suggests, the subesophageal ganglion lies just below the esophagus. Structurally, it is formed by the fusion of paired ganglia from the mandibular, maxillary, and the labial segments of the head. So, it controls the feeding movements of cockroach. Basically, it is the principal motor center since it coordinates the movement of the mouth parts, legs, and wings. So, while the brain senses the environment, the subesophageal ganglion responds by making the cockroach eat, move, or escape danger. Now, how do brain and the subesophageal ganglion talk to each other? So, basically, they are connected through a pair of circumesophageal connectives that loop around the esophagus. Think of it like this, that the connective act like the wires, while the ganglias are the two control boxes, one above and one below the esophagus. And the nerve ring is the whole circuit which is formed when these are connected around the esophagus. So if I see this structure inside the body, I can see the entire structure is looking like as if it is wrapping around the esophagus. This nerve ring is the main control hub. Extending from the subesophageal ganglion, a ventral cord runs through the thorax and abdomen on the ventral side. This ventral cord is made up of two solid ganglionated cords, and it is therefore known as the double ventral nerve cord. There are 3 thoracic and 6 abdominal ganglia. The first 5 abdominal segments each have one ganglion. The sixth or the last abdominal ganglion is the largest, which is formed by the fusion of ganglia of the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th segments. Each segmental ganglion independently manages the local movements. It's like a local Wi-Fi routers working under one network. That's why even when cockroaches loses its head, it can still move because these ganglia can still send signals. Now that we have seen the central nervous system, let's see how it connects to the rest of the body. And that's where the peripheral nervous system steps in. The peripheral nervous system acts as messenger network between the central nervous system and the body organs. It consists of nerve arising from the brain and the ventral nerve cord. For example, the optic nerves which arise from the compound eyes, the antennal nerves which come from the antennae, and the labral nerves which arise from the labrum. From the thoracic and the abdominal ganglia, nerves spread out to every body segment controlling legs, wings, and abdominal movements. Each ganglia supplies nerves to its own region, like thoracic ganglia control the movement of legs and wings, while the abdominal ganglia control the abdominal muscles and reproductive organs. So while CNS act as a control center, the peripheral nervous system spreads like a web, carrying signals between the control centers and body parts, ensuring perfect coordination between sensing and movement. So, if the sub-esophageal ganglion was damaged, the cockroach would lose movement control of the mouth parts, legs, and wings. Next, we move on to the autonomous nervous system of cockroach. The autonomous nervous system is also known as visceral or somatogastric system. Why? Because it manages the involuntary activities of the muscles of heart, reproductive organs, and the gut. Now, if I'll bring back the structure of the brain from the back, so you can see a thread like structure which is running from front and then going back along the gut. So, this autonomous nervous system is made up of a chain of small ganglia. So, if I bring up the detailed view, then I can see that this chain of small ganglia are present all over the gut. These include the frontal ganglia, which is present just above the brain. That is why it is known as frontal ganglia. Then comes the hypocerebral ganglion. Then there is the visceral or ingluvial ganglia. And finally, it is the proventricular ganglia. All these ganglias are interconnected by nerves. All these ganglia regulate digestion, circulation, and other internal processes. So, to wrap it up, the cockroach nervous system may be simple, but it is brilliantly efficient. Its central nervous system includes the brain, sub-esophageal ganglion, and the double ventral nerve cord, all working together like a network of command centers. The brain mainly handles sensory input. The sub-esophageal ganglion coordinates movement of mouth parts, legs, and wings. The ventral nerve cord keeps the local reflexes. Then comes the peripheral nervous system, which connects these control centers to every part of the body, ensuring smooth coordination between sensing and action. And finally, the autonomous nervous system, which keeps all the involuntary processes like digestion, heartbeat, and reproduction going silently in the background. So, next time you see a cockroach dash across the floor, remember there's a whole team of ganglia and nerves working together behind that quick escape.